Good afternoon, everyone. This is Carl F. Rose recording from Bedford, Pennsylvania on Monday, January 30th, 2023, and I'm pretty fucking pissed off right now. Um, um, this was supposed to be on my podcast. I'm putting this on my podcast channel, um, but I'm just furious. With Spreaker Podcast, do not use them. They are an awful service. They suck. I'm going to be changing my podcast service somewhere else as soon as I'm done, because I'm done with them today. But anyway, so now this podcast was going to be on the Detroit Lions head coaching records. So my question is, can Dan Campbell possibly become the winningest coach in Detroit Lions history? And my answer is yes, but I was doing some research. I was surprised. He can do it, but it's gonna take a lot more work than I realized. I thought he could do it in a few years. So anyway, well, let's get into this. Let's get into the coaches that have 500 or above records since the Lions have been in operation for 93 years. There's too many coaches, so I only selected the coaches with 500. The winning percentage. Anything under 500, I didn't include. Anyway, so let's go through the history here for a bit. First, Dutch Clark from 1937 to 1938, record of 14-8. That's a .636 winning percentage. Then comes Gus Henderson, 1939. He had a 6-5 record. That's a .545 one-loss record. And then we got this one. This is the guy that Dan Campbell really has to beat, and I never even heard of the guy, but Potsy Clark from 1931 to 1940, 53 and 25 and 7 ties with a .679 one-loss percentage. Then you have Buddy Parker from 1951 to 1956, 47 and 23 and 2 ties, and that's a .671 winning one-loss record. Then George Wilson. For the longest time, I thought George Wilson was an owner. I've got the football. I've got an autographed football. Detroit Lions autographed football and George Wilson's signature is one of them, along with Don Shula, Dick LeBeau, and many others. But anyway, I've got that ball. Anyway, George Wilson from 1957 to 1964, 53-45, 53 wins, 45 losses, and 6 ties for a .541 record. Then we have Joe Schmidt. That's the coach that I was watching when I first started watching the Lions. He was their head coach from 1967 to 1972. He had a 43 and 34, 43 wins, 34 losses, and 7 ties for a .558 record. And then we have Gary Moeller in 2000, who was must have been an interim coach or something. 7-4-3 for a .571. Then, of course, we had Jim Caldwell, the most recent one, with a above winning record, 2014 to 17 for 36 wins, 28 losses for a .563 record. Now, currently, Dan Campbell is currently sitting at 12 wins, 21 losses, and 1 tie. And even if you look back at some of the other coaches like Chuck Noll, when he started with the Steelers, he had a horrendous one-loss record. And I think Tom Landry, even when he started with the Cowboys, had a horrendous record at first. I don't know that offhand, but anyway, what it's going to take for Dan Campbell to be better than Potsy Clark. Potsy Clark. For, let's see, from next year, starting next year, 2013, 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, and 2027. He's going to have an average of a 14-3 one-loss percentage. That's pretty high standards. I think it'll take him a little longer than that, because I don't see any coach having a 14-3 record 5 years in a row. That's just highly unlikely. So it's going to probably take him a little longer than 5 years. That would give him, if he did what I just said, that would give him a one-loss record of 80 wins and 36 losses and one tie for a .689 a one-loss record, and that would put him as the top winningest coach in Lion history. That would be surpassing Potsy Clark. So it's going to take him some work. I think he's the guy to do it. I think he's going to be with the Lions for quite some time. And the thing is, what I've always been saying, that is the Lions shouldn't be playing musical coaches. That never works. It messes the players up and just messes up the whole thing. So as long as Sheila Ford continues to stay the course, which I was totally in support of, even though they were 1-6 at the time, I still supported that. And so we just need to look forward to the off season, see how the rest of this goes, and I've got more to say on Aaron Glenn, whether he stays or goes. It's seeming like there's a lot of activity around him, but I think he's going to be with the Lions. But I got another video or podcast. Might be a while on the podcast because I'll be looking for someone new. Anyway, well, that's it. Talk to you later. Have a good day.